Your rock station 99.7 The Blitz. Day 2, Sonic Temple Art and Music Fest. You guys, I think I'm going to need a crane to get out of this chair. I sat down and I feel like I'm on the floor. 9:40 p.m. Avatar plays on the stage this evening, and you are returning. Johannes Eckerstrom, Avatar. This is your second year back-to-back of playing this event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
The whole last year is a blur.
Yes, I got
It really is. Well, since Dance Devil Dance came
Yeah.
out, it's been a lot in a good way.
Yeah.
So when happened, where, and what, and why, and stuff. I believe you.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Well, that was one of my favorite sets last year. So when I saw you were returning, I was like, oh, yeah, not missing that. So
gonna be good.
talk a bit about Dance Devil Dance and that album. Are you a little surprised about how this is reacted and how many people have embraced Avatar with this record?
Nah. No, it's a two-part answer to that, right? There's a part of me that for every year now, I'm getting more and more stunned by the fact that people, liking something is even a big word. Or, I mean, I like it, so if people like it, they agree with me, it's at least one person or two is bound to do that, right?
Right.
But what really gets to me, and has gotten to me in the past year, to kind of trying to wrap my head around, is people being interested, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And that part is overwhelmingly cool. So in that sense, yeah, it's crazy every time, all the time, that people dig it. Now, within the little bubble of creating something we're excited about and that I knew was good at its, and that's, of all the things we have done, this is not the biggest shocker in the world that this landed well. I felt extremely confident about it. So yes and no, and yes and no.
Yes
But
and no.
don't you have to have that level of confidence, or a certain level of confidence, because you are it is such a competitive world, and now with social media, you get an instant reaction from people anywhere, because as soon as you put something out there, somebody has it right away. So you almost have to have that level of, okay, this is good enough that I know all these people are going to say something good about it, or like it a lot, or at least be interested enough in it.
But at the same time, social media makes us all, it's easy for us all to live in echo chambers. So I usually get to just hear the good feedback anyway, and I don't go out of my way to find that to begin with, but I definitely don't go out of my way to find negative feedback either. So that is always a bit safe,
I don't think you can, though, because there are people that will just hate for the sake of hating and will post something
I
negative.
don't see it much of it, so I guess it's just
Good
a case
for
of
you.
that everybody loves us everywhere all the time. No, but the confidence part, on the other hand, yes, you have to have it. And that, I think that was special about us as a band. Like, we started out really young, learning to play music at all with each other, meaning we were not a very good band in the beginning. No one is. But we were since day one, we were so convinced that we were something. We got something going on before the music sounded like anything at all. And that confidence to do something as blatant as like wanting to put yourself out there and expose yourself the way we do, somehow we were up for that way too early. And I think that's part of the secret sauce for any band that makes it anywhere. Because it is learn on the fly, learn on the job kind of thing anyway.
And, watching an Avatar show is fun for many different reasons. You are an entertainer in more ways than one. And being the metal circus ringmaster, I have to ask, if you were to learn any kind of circus trick, what would it be? And maybe incorporate it into the show without getting hurt.
I sometimes think of those kind of things. I like looking at things to do. I like illusions, because then you don't actually have to do anything. You buy a thing that someone built for you, and there's a curtain, and you just turn around and pull a knob, and it's amazing. So illusionism feels age appropriate in a way. Then there's a lot of things that I think of, but maybe that ship has already sailed in terms of being at an appropriate age to learn to be more acrobatic. Now just trying to maintain what I have and keep my cardio up more than anything. And then, I don't know, fire breathing seems like a low-hanging fruit, but also done.
Sure.
So, I don't know. Can you sing with a sword stuck down your throat?
No.
Going to be a little difficult.
What do you know about it?
Well, I don't know anything about swords down my
so you
throat.
don't know, yeah, so you don't,
But
you don't know.
maybe I do. I don't know.
No, so you don't know, because you still breathe through something, right?
Yeah.
So there's airways, and you use your throat in a different way, doing a bunch of my vocals anyway. So there's a chance.
And the flame,
Sword soloing while growling, yeah.
the flame stuff scares me because I drank one of those flaming Dr. Peppers once and burned my eyebrows off, and that was not cool.
Dude, there's a lot of potential for that to go bad really quickly.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
with all
yeah.
your hair, no way. But I did have a dream once that you were performing, Avatar was on stage, and you did this thing where you disappeared, like you just disappeared. And then you came walking down a runway from behind the crowd, and you started singing again and went back up on stage. I don't know how, it was like 2 months ago. It must have been when I was getting all ready for Sonic, knowing you guys were playing. But that's a thought.
That's not too far away from what we're doing, but I don't show up singing, I show up playing the trombone. So
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of happening already.
That must be what
You're
I'm
all
doing.
right about the acrobatics, though. There's a reason why they start gymnasts out when they're little kids.
Yeah.
Because once you get to a certain thing, everything hurts more.
Yeah. I'm okay with things hurting, as long as they stop hurting. And I do my yoga moves, I try to stay limber.
Now, I'm going to ask you the worst question that you've probably been asked 100 times, but I'm curious to know. Nowadays, when we think of the word Avatar, there's, that's my computer image, or that's the movie, or whatever.
Yeah.
Where'd it come from?
It's John's fault. 8th grade, religion studies in school, chapter on Hinduism, so the original meaning of the word.
Okay.
He thought that was a cool name for a band.
He's not wrong.
No, but it was also a cool name for a whole lot of things. and we didn't know. And then we were kind of close to changing the band name between our first 2 demos or something. But we also felt, we have built so much. And all that would be undone, blah, blah. And then you learn about Nirvana's history, and they change names every week for a while. Excuse me. So probably would have been fine. No, but it comes from that. But we came out before James Cameron did his most mediocre film ever.
Right, absolutely. Nobody saw that thing.
No, everybody saw it, but do you remember it?
I just remember a lot of blue and images and weird faces that weren't
and
actual
3D,
faces.
I just a tech trailer for 3D photography, which is a terrible way of shooting movies anyway.
Yes.
Because it kind of kills the art of film photography. And that was kind of it, right?
Yeah.
Dances with wolves, but they're blue.
But they're blue.
Do you get Crow references or Crow comparisons? Because,
Yeah, and I get a bunch of different things, and which isn't wrong. There are a bunch. I draw from a lot of things. If you're a clown, there's a tradition, and that has gone all kind of, depending on the Gothic trail or the rock and roll trail or this movie or movies or circus or sideshows.
Yeah.
The clown as an archetype is everywhere, has been everywhere. So the Crow, absolutely, and grew up with that film, loved the film. The Joker, of course, I have 2 Batman costumes as a kid. One's, the black one, the Michael Keaton, and the Adam West one.
Okay.
So we had 2 Batmans.
You have the jawline for it.
for Batman.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Batman's boring though.
Yeah. Yep.
Silver Spoon Kid, but Joker, and especially the animated Joker, Mark Hamill's voice,
yes.
Joker, very important.
Yes. Why so sad?
Yeah, no, that's wrong. That's so wrong.
I know.
That was a granny moment.
Yeah, that was a total granny moment.
Why so serious?
Yeah.
And he didn't say that. Mark Hamill didn't say that.
Yeah, Mark Hamill didn't say that.
No.
So let me ask you about the album. I find as I peruse through all of the songs on the album, I mean, The Dirt I'm Buried In is still killing it. And the songs on the album, as you continue to tour and you play these songs, are you learning things about this album that you didn't think about before? Because they're so, I listen to them and I hear something different and I think about something different with every listen per song. It's really crazy.
Well, the thing that pops to mind in terms of learning is very technical in the sense of when I write and you record on a demo, first and foremost, you sit down and write down your ideas and get excited about something. Then you stand up for 15 seconds at a time, record it part by part. And then, of course, when you record the album version, also you do it a million times, and you comp the best bits and pieces, and you piece it together to that top performance that then becomes the blueprint for what you want it to sound live. And that has always been a way to grow as a musician and as a performer, because especially the title track, I just forgot the part of inhaling. That's when you're then gonna do the songs live. So there's that physiological just getting used to perform songs that you write because you want them to be intense, but on recording it's not necessarily that intense to make it.
Sure.
You can do it in bits and pieces, but live, you can't cheat. So now, 1 year plus in, I'm starting to feel pretty good physically about my lips stay red and don't turn blue now.
That's
doing that
always
song.
important.
Yeah, but that's a trip that we always make. And then on a kind of deeper level, what songs starts to mean to you, that is too soon for this album. But there are certain rare moments live that are the ones I treasure the most, is because when we do hundreds of shows every year,
right.
There's something slightly mechanical, to sing the song over and over again. Enjoyable,
yeah.
But very much a craft in that. But sometimes, once every, 10 shows, comes that moment when you suddenly live inside the song and in the moment with complete presence.
Yeah.
It's a certain high that you're chasing all the time. And that peak moment, and when that happens with an older song, you see that, there's a term, the death of the artist, right? Yeah. That as soon as we make something and put it out, it belongs to you as much as it belongs to me. And meaning whatever you think the song is about or whatever moment that
right.
is in your life is just as true as whatever my intention was. But the thing is also that, the whole, you can never step down in the same river twice, blah, blah. That is kind of true for the songs as well. But 10 years after the fact, suddenly, with certain distance, you reconnect with whatever that song was, and it becomes a new thing for you and start carrying a different meaning, and that's a certain high. But that's just, I'm just now slowly stepping out of whatever Dance Devil Dance was as we write new music now to record early next year is the plan, and in the middle of figuring out what that thing is. But that means I don't have enough distance to the Dance Devil Dance stuff. Those songs mean exactly what they meant to me while making them. They still mean that today.
Do you think that videos, sometimes I wonder, I like to listen to songs for a long time before I see the video, because I like to kind of get my own visual of what it is and what you were just saying. And then I see the video and I'm like, oh, I was way off to what the artist's visions are in the video. Or it was like, that's exactly what I felt. That's exactly what I was thinking. The visual you created for that song nailed it for my thought. Do you ever find that doing a video kind of takes away letting somebody kind of get their own idea? Or is it just more for the fun of it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But also for ourselves, kind of in a way where, a song without the visuals, you fill in a lot of blanks, which can be way more magical in a way. And you kind of, I don't know if it's the right term here, but kind of pigeonhole it to become one thing. With a music video, absolutely. But that's kind of a choice we have to make, which is, and it was kind of, I don't know, like which order, so Dance Devil Dance, the video, that also, I think is, scalpels and cutting through yourself and crawling into your own intestines kind of deal, means is the one that is our less seen one, because it got flagged and stuff, which is fine. We knew that was going to happen.
But that video was nailed it. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
Feel like that summarized the whole collective vision of what Dance Devil Dance was, right? Yeah. Then the Dirt I'm Buried In was a more separate, a playful idea, general idea that we felt could make sense to this thing that becomes a single. So there we are not necessarily super married. The only thing in that video that is like And what's the starting point for the whole idea is like certain songs seem to fit particularly well to drive at night.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's all kinds of music does that, and that is for us one of those songs. But then everything else was just like, okay, and then what? And what do we do? And then and Chimp Mosh Pit, which sure, it's a fun rock and roll song, but us being that comedic with it was just a choice because of what we had just made just before. So we kind of, I guess the answer is that it was kind of loosely based always. The music video, so most of the time very loosely based on what the song is for the sake of doing what's best for the music video medium.
But I think everybody says that music is the soundtrack to your life, and the key word being "your" there, because take a song like Dirt for a second, and you, when you wrote that song, had an idea of what the dirt that was burying you was. But someone right now might be going through a divorce, or they lost, and the pressure from that becomes the dirt they were buried in. But then now forever, because that song captured a certain moment in their life, when they hear that 5 years from now, they'll be like, oh man, I remember what I was going through with my ex-wife. Now I'm so much happier now, or I got a new dirt that's burying me again, kind of thing. It's amazing how that just keeps going and recycling itself.
And that's all music. It has nothing to do with our songs in particular, obviously. That's just life, right?
Right.
And I don't know, the algorithms has fed me a lot of 50 Cent quotes on YouTube. and I remember him talking about that when he's being interviewed about when some magazine compiled the greatest rappers of all time, and where he was on the list, and he says, that can't be done. That's stupid, because you have to do it by era and periodically, because it's all about when were you 21 and had your first night out with drinks and there was a dance floor, in terms of those kind of hip-hop anthems. In that case, that is the greatest song ever for you, your generation, your moment and stuff. So it's, us and our songs in particular, beyond trying to make good songs, we have so little to do with that. All of that is,
Metal's been around for a while, but do you feel like there's a metal resurgence right now? Because you're seeing where a lot of metal bands are getting probably more commercial exposure than they ever have before. Because there was a while where you had your metalheads and they rocked out over here, but it wasn't quite as mainstream as it is now. I mean, you look at a place like this where 20,000 people are going to come in here, they're fired up to see metal bands. And it feels like it's been a minute since that kind of buzz was there.
Comes and goes in different parts of the world, but absolutely, I feel, yes, we are in one of those right now, where it seeps into the general consciousness, what's the song called? Master of Puppets and Stranger Things.
Yes.
It's those little things, right? That kind of, when it seeps in and helps all of us, what's the thing with the tide and the boats and the rise?
The rising tide?
Yeah, the rising tide.
The rising tide will sink no ships or sail no ships, something like
that. Also, our tiny little ass boat goes up when more general awareness among a younger audience. Oh, I like this in a Master of Puppets, and then click, someone recommends something. Oh, here we are. Oh, I like grindcore now. So and that happens from time to time, and sometimes it don't. And the beauty of metal is that we kind of keep on trucking anyway. It's it's just a question of if we get to put ketchup on our macaronis for dinner or not in certain periods, and that's fine.
Hot sauce all day.
Yeah.
Hot sauce I'll give you. I'm never putting ketchup on my macaroni.
You mentioned
Neither do I, and I don't know. Okay. My Italian wife may or may not hear this. And so
you mentioned you'd written some new music already. As you progress through that, what are the things that you write from? What is around you that you witness that kind of influences your writing? What is that for you?
It kind of has to be a different thing for each song. There's not a general thing,
right?
I think. And Avatar is very much a collage of all, multiple songwriters that come together and add their personal touches on each other's ideas and everything. So it's a whirlwind where it might happen once every second album, I saw something on the news, but that's not how I usually do it, or an observation on town. And many times my favorite moments is just when the musical idea is so crystal clear and powerful. There's that condition where people see colors and shapes when they hear music. I don't have that, but I relate to it in the sense that if it triggers my imagination enough that I see these sometimes abstract, sometimes very concrete images of some whatever from hearing the music, and the music just tells me what to write lyrically, that goes. And every time, the deeper we get into a songwriting period, I always ramps up how much I listen to Simon and Garfunkel, Faith No More, and Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Who I love all year round, but there's something about, they become even more study-worthy for me every time when we cycle in. So certain bands that kind of cycle in and out like that throughout the years when it's writing time. But for each song, there's a different little story in that sense. And that also has to do with where we bounce so many ideas between all of us all the time.
Now, the festival experience is a little bit different than if you guys are playing your own show, because your time is a little bit changed around. You got a ton of other bands on the bill at the same time. Does that change the approach to your set list at all?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because we stay on stage for 2 hours when we headline nowadays. And there's just the show pieces and then the musical. The thing is, especially this touring we've done now lately, we ended up changing the set list almost not at all. Like very little. 1 or 2 songs have jumped in and out, which is rare for us. And that is because the musical flow from when do we go heavy, when do you go light, why is this song before and after this, what show element do we add to keep, to wake people up after this and let them re-energize, that whole thing. So then you want to give people a snapshot of that on a shorter festival set time, and that's really hard. It becomes this movie trailer, like what do you show to make it make sense, and also make it be a show that stands on its own 2 legs. In a shorter setting, because it's easy when you have all the time in the world. You just you will find your way to your destination if you really think about it.
Right.
And then just to do it in a shorter amount of time, it's just a harder challenge. It's why, as hard as it can be to play and perform a super long, intricate, progressive song, writing wise. It can be easier in a way because you have all the time in the world to really do to go all rock set with it and don't bore us, get to the chorus kind of thing, and make that have substance and value in 3 to 4 minutes, and not be generic and and all those things. It's harder. So yeah, it's a big challenge.
Okay.
Festival is all about keeping it moving, and you do, man. You keep it moving hardcore. It's awesome. And you can join the Avatar Circus at Sonic Temple Art and Music Fest 9:40 tonight. You're on the Sanctuary stage. It's going to be an amazing return with Avatar. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to see you play. It's going to be great. Bring that trumpet.
Trombone.
Sorry. Listen, I had a necklace on last year that was a harmonica, and I called it a xylophone. So I have issues with knowing what things are sometimes because I black out.
That's cool. It's not like you interview musicians all day. So now stand out of that chair without holding.
I know.
The arm.
I didn't want to be rude, but like
no cheating. You have to go like this.
Oh shit. Okay, I can do it.
It's good. It's a good deep stretch from that. I see. You're fine. See, that's what you do.
But the whole time
that means you're young.
The whole time I am young, but I had a granny moment. I'm sorry. The whole time you guys were talking, when you were looking at Lewis, I wanted to go like this so bad with this pillow. I was like, holy shit. Thanks again for your time.
People don't realize how real the struggle actually is.
It is. Thank you.